WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. 128 bottles in total. Yay, Irish whiskey Wochenende. The word Wochenende means in German weekend, so the Irish whiskey weekend. This is a special bottling just for this event. It's a Irish single batch whiskey. Never heard that term before. Small batch is not a legal term, therefore single batch is not a legal term, so I guess they can do it. Okay, what do we have here? One of my friends here in Germany, she is Miss Irish Whiskey is what I call her. Mareike Spitzer, she has her own online shop called www.irish-whiskies, EYS.de, DE Deutschland, Germany. And she actually has been doing this now for 10 years in Germany, pushing, promoting, making people enthusiastic about Irish whiskey here in Germany. Wonderful, wonderful thing that she's done. Now, last year we had the COVID pandemic, and we had also in 2021 the same problem. So 2020, 2021, and she decided to do something online. She decided to bring together a total of 12 different distilleries from Ireland that she imports and she has worked with in the past, and then do this nice little weekend. Saturday, she starts at 12, she goes until 9, and there's with each and every distiller a block, and there's a little bit of music in between. There's another block with them, and she sends out sample sets. Some people actually bought all 12 sample sets, which I thought was amazing. So they tried along for the all 6. In each sample set, there were 4. So 4 times 12 would be 48 samples. It's way too much, but that's very, very nice. Now, the only thing I can criticize, everything was great except for one thing. 4 whiskeys in 45 minutes, because there's always a 15-minute break for the next person to come in, is just way too fast. All right, so if they're telling the story, if you're doing all that, I would much rather have an hour and 45 minutes with one person doing 6 whiskeys and going through the whole history, going through all what's going on and so on, being able to ask questions and so on, than having everything compressed down to 45 minutes. But hey, that's me. It's the question, do you want rather a long film or do you want a sitcom in 22 minutes? And I'd rather have a long film, to be honest. But hey, that's me. Now, let's go to this whiskey here. So what we have is for the second Irish Whiskey Weekend, which took place online in October. It was such a success first time that she said, hey, we have to have this, because also the first bottling was such a success, which I have here, by the way. Now, if you look at the color, you'll notice there's a little bit of a difference here. This is bottled in 2021. It was distilled in 2017. This was distilled in 2017, but bottled in 2020. So this is 3-year-old whiskey. This is almost 4-year-old whiskey. Now, there's a difference because this is single grain whiskey, and it's from virgin oak and recharred casks. I love this stuff. This stuff is 63.9% ABV. There were 238 bottles of this. I've owned 3 of them myself. I did not drink them all, but I did share a lot, and I do drink it every once in a while. This is for me Jameson Black Barrel, on steroids. It has those recharred barrels. Just adore this stuff. This is totally different. This was a single grain. This was a single Irish single batch whiskey is what she called it. All right, so what she did is she requested samples. I'm pretty sure this came from Great Northern Distillery, both of these, because what she did is she didn't want to make a typical blend, which was normal in Ireland of taking single grain and single malt. Blah, you have Irish whiskey, but instead she took single pot still and single malt whiskey, which was peated and blap. So this is basically an Irish tears and writer's tears, and the Irishmen, they do the same thing with Walsh, where they took the single malt and the single pot still and made a blend, the champagne of Irish whiskey. And this time, though, the single malt was peated. Now, what I would have loved to know, which I don't know, I didn't ask, is what is the percentage? Is it 20% peated single malt, 80% single pot still? Is it vice versa? Is it 50-50? We don't know. We just know that both whiskeys were distilled in 2017 and were allowed to mature in an ex-Bourbon barrel for a full 5 years. Okay, 5 years. Can I not do math? I can do math. So distilled 2017, 18, 19, 20, bottle 21, 4 years max. So there's a little typo here on Whiskybase. So so that's an interesting one. I didn't misread it. Right, and wasn't a misdo here. Okay, good. That's a mistake there. All right, and the second thing that's really interesting is 128 bottles at cask strength, 58.6%, which means 90 liters of juice was basically used here. That's half of a barrel. So you take a quarter, if you do 50-50, a quarter of a barrel from single malt, peated. You take a quarter of a barrel from single pot still. You mix them together, and then you have half of a barrel, and then you have this. Or you disgorge only a quarter of each, or whatever. I don't know. So that's what this is. Now this was almost 49 euros. This is 69 euros 99. This was 3 years old. This is 4 years old, basically. That's a little bit of a price difference. Yeah, I know grain is cheap, but this was double oaked, and I know this is here from our single malt peated and our single pot still from basically Great Northern, and it's more expensive, but that's a lot more expensive. We're running here around almost 20 euros per year. That's a lot. So what will the nose and what will the palate deliver here? Now, the interesting thing is you do get the peat, but I do get a peachy moment behind there. There's peaches, there's apricots, there's a fruity moment going on here. I think that's the mixture of the single pot still and the single malt here. I get a little bit of vanilla. I get a little bit of clove, apple, and a little bit here of spiciness. All right, good. Over here, totally different beast. Jason happy. I get the barrel char. I get those recharred casks. Oh, this is so good. That's the wood comes through, the vanilla, the charred caramel comes through here. This is fantastic. I would actually buy more of this if I could. It's all sold out as well. This is sold out also. Sorry, 128 bottles gone. The 238 bottles also gone. By the way, this is Whiskybase number 167876. 228, I can't read. All right, in virgin oak and recharred, and 45 euros 90. 69 euros 90. Cheers. Now this is my control whiskey. I had this first. So 60-some%, 63.9%. This is only only 48.6%. Cheers. This is interesting. It is hot towards the end. You do notice it's young. You do notice it's strong. The best comparison I can give is a Ben Romach cask strength. The peat is there, but the fruitiness as well. Those dried apricots, a little bit of peaches in there, and so on. Very, very interesting. It's a C whiskey. It's not a B, it's not a D, it's a C whiskey. This is something I could recommend, but first of all, I think the price is too high. I would have appreciated 55 euros, 50 euros, 54, whatever. And second of all, there's a lot of heat in the background here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of water and take it down to about 48% here. And then it gets more interesting. The smoke is not the typical smokehouse moment. It's not a dirty ashtray moment. It's not the earthy type of burnt clay moment that I've had sometimes. This is a chocolatey type of moment that is almost acceptable. I'm not a peat head. For those of you who are watching this for the first time, I'm not a peat head. So for me to give this a C, even though it's peated, is a certain development of my palate or of my character or of my goodness of my heart. Mm-hmm. Diluting it down below 50%, 48 around. There's still a little bit of heat at the end. The alcohol comes through more than it should and what it should do. Now, often with Irish peated whiskeys, many times I've had a more of a burnt rubber moment. Here, I don't get that. I like that. I'm not a big fan of burnt rubber. This is very well made whiskey, very good. Great casks, great production, great combination of the two. I'm really surprised that not more people have followed. I mean, come on, Writer's Tears and The Irishman have been on the market now for 10 plus years. Why have other people not mixed single malt and single pot still together and created something even better? Yeah, that's my question of the day. If you know of anyone, please do tell me. Now, going over here, as I said, I love this 63.9%. Yummy for my tummy. The interesting thing is this is not hot. This is hot. This is dangerously yummy. I could drink this and enjoy this and just bathe in the goodness of this whiskey. I gave this a B, I think. This is really fantastic. Just hits my wheelhouse absolutely right. It's not something I want every day, but it's a little bit, there's a creme brulee in there. It's just wonderful. Now, imagine I would do a German whiskey weekend. Now, I'll probably do it in German first. I will not do it in English first, sorry. But imagine I would actually do something like that in English one day. Hypothesis. A hypothetical situation. Would you like to have a total of 12 different German distillers here for 45 minutes each? Or would you rather prefer to have 6 different distillers here? Or maybe I can do 8. Let's go for 8. I could do 8 in that time slot there. 8 different distillers and total, with each gets about 90 minutes total, and a little bit more time to do that. What would you like? Would you like the TV sitcom, the series, in 22 minutes short, or would you like the long movie version better if you're going to learn about a distillery and do a German whiskey weekend? All right. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for sharing. And thank you very much for even just watching. Whiskey Jason. Bye-bye.